Shirt show. All right, let's go.
Shirt show! Talking shirt! Shirt show! Talking shirt! Shirt show! Talking shirt! Shirt show! Shirt man!
All right! Episode 221 of Shirt Show. We're talking with Zach, Seth, Omar, Sanger, Cory, Cody from the Print Masters Throwdown. Let's go!
Hey.
Sorry, dude. Oh, hell just broke loose. Can I tell you everything that just happened in the past 15 minutes? Are you ready? You got
Also, I'm guessing you got your care package from Ryan.
Yeah, look at that. Look at that shit. I have so much to show you with regards to show and tell.
I've seen it all, but I would love to see it again with your reaction.
But okay, so here's what just happened. It's hot here today, and I closed the door to my office, and it's just hot in here. And so I went and grabbed a fan. There's this fan that's right here that I'm terrified to move, but it's a pedestal fan, you know, and it's metal and it's big. And so I grab it and I set it here and I go to plug it in the wall and then I turn it on and the whole top fucking falls to the ground and goes, it's this giant earthquake of a crash and it dented the pedestal. It was going crazy. And then I'm like, okay, well, that's great. I can fix this. No problem. And so I pick it up.
You said it that calmly. Okay.
Yeah,
I guess I can do this. Yeah.
That's just the way things are going. Cool. I got this. And so I pick it up to set it back because there's this like little tube and it's like, you know, the Christmas tree stands where you screw in and it gets tighter and then the tree is then it's like solid. Well, I went to do that. And then a piece of metal that was shaving that was loose on the thing jammed into my finger so deep I thought I'd almost severed it. And then it was stuck in there. And you know, like a splinter, you're like, oh God, and it hurts like more than like if I were to just like get stabbed.
Like if you take a knife and gash your arm open, it hurts less than a sliver.
Because it's my pointer finger and it's like, you know, you're sensitive. And so I was like, oh my God, and there's just metal and I can see it and it's stuck in there. And I couldn't get it out. And then I got tweezers. Finally, I found tweezers here from somebody, unsanitized. And then I started digging and I couldn't see. So then I found glasses where I could see. And then I got it. I got it out. I got the whole sliver out and it was like ½ inch.
Proud of you.
And then I'm like, okay, I'm going to live. I'm going to live. And then I set that thing up there. I got this. I opened this box. I have this shirt and oh my God. I also have, which I guess you've seen.
Yeah, I saw the contents.
And I didn't have a hat on.
You have a Creed shirt on for those who are listening.
So yeah, a little bit of backstory here is that every single Creed meme that I ever see, I send to Ryan Kasperian because he loves Creed so much. And I want him to get, you know, all of the Creed. I want him to get bathed in Creed.
Pretty sure he started the Scott Stapp fan page on Facebook.
That's right. And so, but in all seriousness, the opposite is true. He doesn't like them, and that's why I spam him with Creed stuff. Anyway, he's always like, "Oh yeah, keep them coming. Yeah, keep the Creed stuff coming. No big deal." Because I sometimes say I'm sorry. Well, he's payback. Payback is now, and here's what he made.
You can take me higher with Andy's face on Scott Stapp's body.
That's my body.
Laminated. Okay.
That might be my
I've seen your body.
Looks pretty close. Close.
It's actually not far.
And then I got this stuff, some CDs. Whoops, hold on.
It's a great album. Human Clay. What is that one?
I can't read.
My Own Prison. That's a banger right there.
Yeah. So when we all went to Arizona in May, all we played was Creed, and well, that's not true. We played a lot of Creed, and I made the video. I took a bunch of photos and some videos while we were down there, and I made a video to recap the whole experience, and I put it to a Creed song. And anyway, you know, Creed's like they've made a huge comeback, just like a lot of those other bands. By the way, big announcement just happened like 6 hours ago. Oasis is back together.
Give two shits.
If I could just get that job to print their merch for that reunion tour, that's it. You're done. One and done. You just print that order nonstop.
Because they'll sell like 4 shirts because they're such a shitty band.
Shut the door. Shut the door because they have a huge fan base. They're going to sell at every single stadium wherever they go because they've been, you know, it's been 15 years. Anyway, yeah, I would love to print those. But what I would love to print more
It's cream.
is this right here.
Just
That's right.
so much skin.
I'm not never taking this shirt off, Dylan. I'm not ever taking it off. You look great. How are you? I like the hat.
Wonderful.
Buffalo Bills. I didn't
It's a
know you
buffalo
were...
hat, but it's a chicken wing.
From here, yeah, of course it looked like.
Yeah, it's the Bills logo, but it's a chicken wing.
I was like, why are you wearing a Bills hat? Because you're not a sports person, but makes sense now.
If I was a sports person, it would definitely be the Bills because they're close.
That's right. It all starts with the screen, and whether it's new stretches or restretches, Frank and his team do it the best. To find out more, go to graphicscreenfashion.com, FFFFF.
Rank.com.
Or
greatfuckingscreens.com.
cleaning screens is no fun, but Easy Way makes it way more funner. Their line of eco-friendly chemicals will make reclaiming screens a whole lot easier. Check them out at easyway.com. Easy Way.
It's the easiest way, baby.
GraphX Source is the source for production-ready digital art and remote art staffing. We use them every single day. They can help any size shop from just starting out to massive, massive shops. Size doesn't matter, my guy. Size doesn't matter.
Debatable.
Check them out at graphxsource.com. Choosing the right emulsion for your shop is complicated, and that's why we love Chromaline. Go to chromaline.com to watch Kev's vids or contact him on Instagram at the Emulsion Guru, or watch the episode that comes out on September 23rd. Yeah.
Because we're having him back, baby.
S&S has been our go-to apparel store since day one. They have over 85 brands, probably 86. I think it's safe to say they have over 86 brands, including Adidas, Columbia Independent, Gildan, and more. Check them out at ssactivewear.com.
Hell yeah, brother.
The weathered hues of comfort colors are inspired by nature. You and I both love nature. We love us some nature.
Fucking love nature. I mean, I do love nature.
Just the way you said that.
I do.
So it makes sense that their dye process would be made with respect for it too. The Pigment Pure TM process produces earth-friendly colors by using 3 times less water, taking 40% less process time, and consuming way less energy, requiring 0 salt. Next, we have Screen Print GPT. You've got to check it out. It's free. It'll save your life. You want to talk about it a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, it's just like a free tool. Go on. You can ask it any kind of screen print questions, which is funny because I get people all the time that just DM me or whatever and ask me any kind of question about printing or technique or why is this not flashing? Why is this happening? Whatever. And I mean, I love talking to you guys. Like I will gladly take your DMs and ask and answer these questions. But if you want somebody smarter, you could go to screenprintgpt.com and type in whatever question you have, and it will give you the answers or at least things to try to fix your problem.
I mean, smarter, that's out for debate still. I don't know if it's actually, I think you've got it. I think you've got more up there in that noggin, because you always know, like right before I'm getting ready to say something, which right now I'm getting ready to say, you always know what I'm going to say. You always know what I'm getting ready to say. Like, what am I going to say right now?
I have to poop.
Never mind. You want to go to screenprintgpt.com or whatever that is.
Yeah,
check it out.
One of those. Today, Andrew, we have the one and only can of corn.
That's right.
That's
and
right,
for that, he is such a bright guy and he is such a bright energy.
He did put him on. Fuck yeah. How do you do anything with these on all day inside? I can't see anything.
Man, I love it. We're all shaded up. You need shades too, brother. I know Sanger and Cory already had shades. I know you got them on you. Yeah, you better go. Yeah, right. All right. I love it. Y'all can correct.
Yeah. Well, we wanted to look suspicious as fuck and just be on here like, we've got stuff going on.
Right.
You guys got me so excited. Mine are fogging up already.
All that steam rising out from under his shirt.
Yeah.
It's just what Andy had to leave.
I'm gonna make it fog up even more. Here, check this out.
Oh my gosh. How do we get that in banner format for the studio? Because that I need that right there. I might hang it above my bed. Not gonna lie.
On the ceiling next to your mirror.
Hey, how'd you know I had that?
My dad has a mirror, like a gigantic mirror above his bed, and his bed is a waterbed.
Oh, my dad's got a waterbed too, bro. That's crazy.
Same
He doesn't
vein,
have the
yeah.
mirror though. He doesn't have
I think
the
it's
mirror.
I think it's the time. Just
Can
like
you still
Andy's room.
buy? Can you still buy a brand new waterbed? Like go to a store
Yeah.
and buy a brand new waterbed?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I didn't know.
It's ridiculous. Anyway, dude, so what's going on? We've had you on before, but we know you have a thing you want to talk about, but catch us up a little bit. Like what happened since the last time? You've done a lot of different things, a lot of traveling, a lot of rock things, a lot of whatever. What's going on?
Yeah. Well, I have you guys, I feel like, to attribute to it and give credit to that because that last episode that we were able to do together, you guys dropped it like right before Water Base Camp. And I was just like talking about this on the Ryan Knight interview where it was like the best thing that could have possibly happened for me that you guys dropped that right before Water Base Week because I showed up and everybody was like coming up to me saying they knew who I was, wanted to ask me questions and stuff like that. But so it gave me like a really good opportunity to be able to meet a lot of amazing people in the industry and like have them kind of, want to talk to me. I think that's one thing that a lot of people necessarily struggle with sometimes is like they have this thing in their back of their head where it's like, do these people even want to talk to me? And that's something that like I really like to push in the industry is letting people know, hey, like, everybody's a resource of knowledge. So like just go up to them and talk to them. So like to be able to have that where you guys kind of ripped the Band-Aid off for me was like big. And I feel like I haven't really stopped since then. I left that water-based camp, went right to the School of Rock and like was on a road trip for that whole period for like 3 to 4 weeks. And then like you guys said, for the past 2 years, I've just been pushing it as hard as I can and doing as much as I can.
Did you have that before where you had that like resting dick face where people wouldn't come up to you and talk to you?
I'm from Massachusetts, so we're a bunch of massholes. So we like automatically come with that. That's why people doesn't think I'm here because I'm always smiling all the time.
I don't like to think of myself in ways like that, but I get that all the time where people start talking to me and they're like, I didn't want to talk to you because you always just look grumpy or miserable or whatever. And it's like, I don't know. Am I that guy, Andy? Like, I feel like I'm not. I feel like you could come talk to me and I'm warm and comforting.
Yeah, you're very warm and comforting. I think I'm the guy that maybe looks friendly and they come talk to me and then I'm grumpy asshole.
Giant asshole.
So and I think I wanted to tell you, Zach, that every time you said water base camp, I think water bed camp. It's just in my head every time you were saying it. I'm like water bed camp. We need to have a water bed camp.
That could be a very eventful camp, if you know what I'm saying.
It's hard to do much of anything on a waterbed. I don't understand.
Oh yeah. Hey, if it's a rockin', don't come a knocking.
So what's going on, man? How what's this thing you're doing here?
So pretty much, last time I was on the show, we did the interview in my storefront at the time, and I had mentioned how there were like 2 projects that I was working on, one with the store and like trying to figure out if there's a way to brand, screen printing. Oh, I like it, switching it up, brand screen printing. And then also like seeing if there's a way that we could create like a community aspect with screen printing that allows to help people and stuff like that, specifically being the print plugs. So with that, things got really difficult with me traveling on the road a ton and not being here on site. So we ended up closing the store in November of last year and moving the stuff back into a 5,000 square foot warehouse where we've been taking that time to, make some big moves to put us in a position where, we could do the type of production we wanted to, but also set ourselves up where we can, work on the print plugs and start to build a local community of printers. And then also, at the same time, play our role in the industry, and like that was one thing that I've really taken the past 2 years with all the traveling and stuff, trying to figure out like, what is my role? And then on top of that, how can I play my role to the best ability? So we've been working really hard on, creating a platform and a tool here at the studio that allows us to push towards those goals and allows us as a team, but allows myself to like really, play the role that I need to in this industry.
So this event that you're doing, what's the goal?
So the goal of this is one, to create something fun and interesting in the industry. You know, I've been noticing, I did in the past 2 years, I think it was like over 12 trade shows in the past 2 years. And one thing I noticed is there's been a little drop off, you know, from the time when I first started going to the shows until now and stuff. And I feel like part of that is just like, you know, why are we going to these trade shows? You know, people aren't necessarily buying equipment anymore. So, you know, people are looking to have a good time and connect in the industry. So how can we create a platform that doesn't have to be necessarily just trade show based, but it can be, you know, whenever we can make these things happen. And then on top of that, you know, how do we bring some fun and competition into the industry? That's some good competition, you know. When we were on the shirt show last time, we talked about like the competition within the industry based on pricing and stuff, and how in all reality, that's just a race to the bottom that the customers are putting us in, because then we're just competing against each other. And it doesn't make sense. You know, in all reality, your only competition should be yourself when it comes to running your business. So to be able to create a competition, you know, where we could face off head to head in all these different print technique challenges, and like lay that out the way we're doing it and shooting it here at the studio to basically, you know, show all of them. And then our plan is to take this on the road and start throwing down with other shops head to head.
So who's going to be the main? Is it going to be like you're the house, they're competing against you in all these places, or is it like you're the MC? And
so
then
we essentially, the way we want to set it up is like this week is we're the starting team. You know, we want to open it up to everybody, but with us being the starting team, we're trying to take in that responsibility on laying down the platform. You know, what do these challenges look like? Okay, well, you're going to have a specific topic of, you know, each challenge. So for example, I'll go down the list of them. We have single color, multicolor, we have water-based, discharge, CMYK, sim process, high density, puff printing, specialty printing, which is involving as much as we can. And then finally, kitchen sink, whereas you have to throw everything into the mix and make that happen. So we're showcasing that. The other thing we're showcasing is we're fortunate enough, we're in the studio. We have 3 different press setups. So we have our manual area, which we're in right now, and we have the Riley Hopkins 4x6, and we also have the Hopkins International 4x4. And then when you go into the auto side of the studio with the bigger production, we have the 8x10 Gauntlet by M&R, and then we also have the 6x8 Rock U press. And that's based around a 54 width Aeolus dryer. So it really also gives us the ability where when we're going through these challenges, we're showcasing them that they can be done on any type of print setup. So that
I was thinking, just as you're saying that, I'm like, man, if I had to go against someone and I had to go on a rock, like I would be lost, you know, like, sure, I could eventually figure it out, but I'm going to be pretty slow. And so there's like home field advantage, if you want to call it that, you know what I mean? Just because you know your machines. I think it's good though to be versatile and to learn. Like I would love to be able to be, to run any press. I mean, I guess any manual is about the same, but when it comes to autos, everything sort of changes, and so that's pretty cool that you have options. And it sounds a little bit like an Olympics, almost like a decathlon maybe, or something like that, because there's just so much. You know, it's not like you're competing on the fastest loader or whatever, you know, you're competing on all sorts of different skills. And is it that, so I was trying to understand it, is it that everyone competes in every single category, or there's just some, like you could just race the 100-meter dash, you know what I mean? Like, are there specialists, you know?
Yeah, so we have a bunch of specialists. However, the way we kind of wanted to do it, when we go and face other shops, obviously it'll be a team head to head, so everybody will be involved in every challenge. But the way we did it in our shop, where we had the 3 different presses and whatnot, we kind of made it so our team right now is based out of 5 people, and that's how everybody's specializing in different things. And the way we wanted to bring it all together and make it all work was, you know, 3 out of the 5 people would be involved in every challenge, and then the 2 other people would just help out and float. But then that way it gives everybody, you know, different aspects. Okay, you're doing, you know, a single color on the rock, but then the next challenge you're doing discharge on the manual, you know. So giving you those different outlooks to really show like, all right, this is why you'd be essentially a print master, you know, because you can hop on any press or you can hop in on any situation and see how to make it work with whatever tools are given to you, you know, because that was one thing that I noticed when I was traveling around the country and outside the country with all these shops so much, is that no shop is the same, you know, and that's one beautiful thing about the screen printing process, is that you can really make this process your own and however you want it, but it really comes down to like, do you know the basics and do you know your own process really well? And if you have a good grasp on that, you can kind of implement it into any setup, which is beautiful.
It's funny because me and Christina have been watching this show, and we've watched like 2 seasons now. I think it's called like Barbecue Showdown on Netflix, and that's basically what it is. There's like these 3 judges. It's just like a lot of these cooking shows, but these contestants come on and they've got experience in barbecue for however many years. Like some guys like been in it for 2 years, some guys been in it for 30 years, you know, whatever. It's like all these different areas. And the thing is like they throw them every episode out of like 8 episodes, like a challenge that's not just like make me this dish. It's like, all right, well, make this, you're making a Christmas barbecue meal, but you're going to have to cook it on this pit. And some of them are like, oh, I've done that forever. And some are like, I've never used this pit before and whatever. And it's like every episode they have a challenge of something that is out of their comfort zone, because we know all of them can make barbecue. It's like with screen printers, we know we can all make a t-shirt and make a print, but like if we throw them the curveball, it's like if they can do all 8 of these challenges and do them well enough to stay and not get eliminated, the guy or girl at the end is considered a pit master.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like that of like, if you can do all these things, you can do the puff, the water base, the screen, you know, all these different screen printing ways. Are you a screen print master or something by the end of it?
Oh yeah.
So
no, it's funny you say that too, because like the shop that we already called out to challenge to go pull up to their spot and stuff like that, we already started talking so much trash because they're not strong or don't print any water base. And we have some heavy hitters on our team with water base. So we're already like, oh, we're going to smoke you on those challenges. So don't even try. But they're like, oh, we're going to be practicing. We'll be ready for you, all that stuff. So it's cool because it makes you realize too, like, what are your strong points and your weak points, you know? And like, I think sometimes we get in that flow so much when it comes to the production world that we, you know, forget about our craft itself. You know, and like, how do we grow our craft to the next level? I grew up being a huge fan of Jesse James from like Monster Garage and West Coast Choppers and stuff like that. And it was really cool to hear him recently, you know, take a trip out to Italy for like a month and 2 months just to study from like one of the world's best welders, you know, and it's really cool to think somebody that on that skill level and that high, that like where they're at and stuff, and they're still trying to grow and learn. So I think this is really cool because, you know, it addresses somebody that's just got into the industry and somebody that's been in the industry for a very long time, you know, and bringing them all together and throwing down. So, we're excited.
I like that story you told about the Pit Masters or whatever on Netflix, because it reminded me that that curveball challenge is something that you should really think about, Zach, because we were challenged a month ago by another shop that's near us, into a kickball match. And so like everybody here was like, yeah, we're definitely going to do that and we're going to destroy them, you know? So it's not like they were challenged us to screen print. We challenged them, or they challenged us to kickball. And which got me thinking too, is that maybe the curveball could be, you know, just like hot ones or something. You could be trying to set up a job while eating super scorching hot wings or something.
We were joking. Like that. We were saying, what if you took 5 shots and then had to start setup and get through the job? You know, like you think you can make it through before the shots hit you or like something like that. Some of these dudes are crazy though. They're like, I think I'd be more dialed in once it finally hit me. So, but who knows? But no, we got some fun things. I think one of the cool things that we're incorporating at the end to kind of set the scale for shop-to-shop challenges is we're going to be doing a virtual challenge at the end of this week where it's going to be our team versus the whole Made Lab team, and they'll be printing at the Made Lab versus Lee Stewart's whole team up in Canada. And the way we kind of went about that was, you know, we have the advantage in the sense we've been doing these challenges all week. We know how they go about. Maid Lab obviously has the advantage in the sense they have all the best equipment you could possibly ask for. But then we gave Lee his advantage with his team being in charge of making the design itself. So it's cool in the sense that everybody's kind of going to deal with different things in that challenge.
2 points to that, though. First point, back to your conversation you were having before, is like, I want everybody to know, even if you've been in this for 15, 20, 30 years, and like you're saying about the Jesse James thing, is like, you are never done learning, like ever. Like, there are so many new things. Even if you were trying to just learn, not necessarily the basics of screen printing, but just screen printing in general, like, we're constantly learning something new, or a way that we've been doing something forever. We find something that tweaks it a little bit that makes it better. So you're never done, like, ever. So Jesse James going to learn about some welding thing or whatever, it's like, he's just in his craft and wants to continue to learn all the time. You never get to a spot where you're like, I've learned it all and I am flawless and I'm a master at all of this.
No. And I think that's the true way of becoming a master, is understanding you're always going to have more to go, you know? And I think that's the best part about, like, us all coming together for these challenges, whether it's our team, you know, future shops that we take on and stuff like that, is like, it's really pushing, you know, internally your team to challenge each other, you know, where it's like, you add up all the years of experience, at least like that our team has, and all the shops we've all been to and stuff like that. It's a lot, you know? So to be able to be in that mindset too, where it's like, all right, you're going to make a suggestion, but I'm going to challenge you on that suggestion. Not because I don't think you're right, or not because I don't think you know what you're talking about, but if we're coming together as a collective, you know, our real goal should be to push the envelope and see how much more we can grow and learn together.
Yeah. But it's also, go ahead. I was going to say, it's humbling though too. Like you were saying, Maid Lab has all these great tools, and you guys have been doing this stuff for a week and all these other things, but like, shit happens daily. Like, we have jobs all the time where it's like, oh, this 12 color we got to do, should be no problem. We're going to do this, and we're going to do these wet on wet. We're going to do this, this, and this. And then when the job gets on press, random shit happens where you're like, well, this day went out the window. Like, you know, this screen broke, or, you know, the humidity is this today, and all these different things. So you could think you have it dialed, and like, oh, that team's got it in the bag, but shit happens every day with every job, and you never know like what's going to happen. Yeah. So,
and I think that's a good testament too, as to like what we are as screen printers, you know, like when I'm meeting people in the airport and I'm trying to explain to them what I do and stuff.
Gotta be adaptive.
I'm like, I have to break it down sometimes and be like, I'm just a professional problem solver. Like, that's all I really do, is like, people send us a problem, whether it's just putting the image on a shirt or me going to a shop or whatever the case is, and I'm just solving your problem. That's all it is. So this is a great way to put that on, you know, a pedestal, and being like, all right, how fast can you solve these problems? Because the other thing too is we're giving everybody, you know, a 2-hour time slot to complete the whole, you know, process as much as you can. You know, we're going to be doing screens and inks ahead of time, at least for this one, just because it'd be a lot to get through. But, you know, you get the 2 hours to do full setup, test prints, all that stuff, and then complete a full garment, whether it's front, back print, all that. So we're fortunate enough where All Made is sponsoring the whole event. So we have some amazing shirts that we're going to be, you know, decorating and creating them into awesome pieces of art.
I just had a thought that, you know, you both were talking about, you know, like going and learning how to weld better. And Dylan, you were talking about how you never really, it's very hard to master. Like, there's so many variables in screen printing. I don't know if you ever really truly, like, you know, like beating the boss on a video game, the final level, you can hardly ever get there. But what happens to a lot of shops, and why they don't push themselves maybe to even continue their education, is because of, well, like, one thing could be burnout, you know, and, you know, you learn this industry, you get good enough where, you know, you're trying to make your shop survive, and you're turning a profit. And then that takes years, right? We were just talking about how that takes about 10 years, you know, before you can start to step back, just on this last couple episodes. And so here you are, you know, you're putting everything into it. And sometimes that means you're not even working on the screen printing production part of it anymore. You're solving customer issues or HR issues or whatever it is. And then you start to burn out, and you're like, wait, this thing that I loved, that I started in my garage, or that I started however you started, you know, the thing that I loved has turned into how I make a living, but it's also turned into I don't really get to do it anymore. And maybe you lose that desire or whatever, or that passion, like to do it every day.
Yeah.
And so maybe having this event and this, like making it a competition, putting some fun to it, and maybe re-inspiring, or how, I don't know, whatever the right word is to
I
that.
think re-inspiring is a good word.
Yeah, it's a good word. I mean, that's part of what we wanted to do. Like, it's funny that you're saying that, Andy, because it came together pretty natural. We were on the tour, the 730 tour, and we were at the LA stop. We had just driven straight from Arizona after finishing up that one to LA. My bonehead didn't book us a hotel room, so we were pretty tired from the night before. And my brother, who's going to be coming up here shortly, Sanger, we were just talking about, man, we need like a boys' week at the studio, where we can just kick back, create, print together, and like get down on some stuff. We all have our own brands, which most screen printers do and stuff. So it's like, be so dope to just be able to collab and work. And then like, me being me, I started thinking about, well, what if we made this into something, and Sanger's like, there you go again. And sure enough, 2 months later, we have the Throwdown situation where, it's something that we can all get together and do our thing, but, inspire other people to, do it too, but like get involved. Like I said, we already have one shop lined up. We want to line up a bunch of other shops. So we can like keep showing people, this should be something you want to work towards and keep getting better at. It's not something that you just have to figure out single colors and then you're stuck there. It's like expand your boundaries and see how far you can push it.
I think it's one of those things too, to kind of, before we get to the other guests and stuff, is kind of like, there's all this content and all this stuff on Instagram and YouTube and whatever of people showing off all these amazing prints and these amazing techniques and everything. But it's nice to have content kind of like you're talking about and doing this and having the video for it of the process of making these and the failures and how one shop might do it better than the other one, to compare notes and whatever. Because in the end, the truth is we're all friends and we're all trying to make the best product and we're all trying to lift each other up. So, one team might do one thing, one team might do another. And then in the end, you're like, well, how did I not achieve what you achieved? And then we help each other and then we all grow together. So I think what you're doing with this is great. I'm all for anybody making content, educational or whatever about this industry. So I really appreciate that you guys are doing this. I know, Zach, you're like, fuck it, I want to make this like Throwdown thing. This sounds awesome. Let's just do it because it's gonna be fun. But like in reality, like it takes people like you to be like, let's just actually do this. Because a lot of things are a lot of talk and nothing ever happens. But it takes a fucking crazy man that wears sunglasses inside to be like, let's just actually do this.
Hell yeah, brother. You already know. So, and I appreciate it, man. Like I said, it's also a good opportunity too, because, I like that you brought up the social media aspect and the online aspect, like I think it's finally, we have a platform with this where it's also, all those people that want to talk in the chat rooms, all those people that want to talk in the comments, call us out, come find us, whoever it is. I've been hearing it for 2 years now. Oh yeah, sunglasses, you can't print, all this different stuff. And, even Lee's heard it, he's on it. All these guys have heard it, So it's like, now we're giving the industry something fun and like cool. And like we said, inspiring, where it's like, all right, if you want to talk that talk, let's see you walk that walk, baby.
Yeah. Who do you got with you?
So I got the whole squad. I'm going to bring them all on individually, one by one. The first one I'm going to bring up is Omar. So Omar and I recently teamed up and partnered up along with the rest of the guys to, really push this forward with the studio and stuff. So Omar recently was working at 12 Ounce Profit out in Montana with Alan Benedict, who's a legend. So much love and respect for him. And, basically we had been talking. It started off as a joke and then it got real, and like most things. And, we ended up partnering up. He moved out here in July. So we've just been working on getting this dialed in. But, what Omar brings to our team is one reason why I wanted to partner up with him. He has a really big passion for screen printing and stuff. Definitely has made it his life, and with us pushing this on the Screen Printer Die and Screen Printers platform and stuff, with us doing the rebranding of that, he's a good example of that. But he's also somebody too, when we talk about challenging and pushing things to the next level, is one thing I know about him, and I've seen it here. I've heard about it at Alan's shop and other places, or when he's in our classes and stuff. Like, he looks at every single thing and thinks to himself, how can I make this better? You know,
Right.
and doesn't really settle ever, which, you know, we can definitely butt heads from time to time when we're challenging each other. But I think that's what's beautiful about it is, you know, it's that understanding and respect for each other that we are trying to make something better. So I got Omar coming on. You want to come on, bro?
You better have sunglasses on.
Oh, trust me, we're squatted up, bro. They all got different ones too. You know how we go.
My brother, thank you for having me.
I know, bro. Love you, bro. So we got Omar.
What's up, dude? How are you?
I'm doing great. Long time listener, first time caller. Good to be on.
Hell yeah. So what's going on, man? Tell us about what you're doing there, and what are you part of the team?
Man, so like Zach said, we start joking around trade shows. The idea starts getting real. He starts pushing challenges and putting actual like dates and plans on the table and on paper. I'm like, okay, this is what we're doing. Well, as far as what we're doing here, I really like and look forward to the opportunity to create something that generates a different buzz that I feel has been missing in the industry. Like you guys mentioned, we do a lot for like pushing products and techniques and stuff, but sometimes I feel like the fun stuff is really missing. The times where you print it all day and then your homies show up at the garage spot and you're gonna print on the rest of the night just to have fun. And all the cool stuff that comes out of that, you see your friend do like, oh, you did that with, you know, such and such screen, that ink sparks another idea. And before you know it, you had one of the funnest or your favorite prints, you know, those have been the case for me. So having an opportunity like that to do it at a scale like this with somebody that's willing to push as hard as Zach, man, it's really awesome to be here.
It's a good
I have two stories. The first one is I once tried to put on a challenge here, and I challenged. I collabed with M&R, and we tried to print 100 shirts the fastest. And I made a video and all this kind of stuff, and I got my time got beat because of all these reasons. But what I wanted to say,
I might have some reasons at the end of the week.
I have lots of excuses, but why? What I wanted to, the point I was going to make about that is that be careful on these challenges, because I think one of the things I did wrong was it was just too much of a hurdle, I think, for shops to like an expense. First of all, you had to make the screens, you had to take time out of a production schedule and do this. Maybe you could have opened it up on a Saturday or something, but I think we need to make those, like if I ever do anything like that again, what I learned was that I have to make it more accessible. This challenge needs to be more accessible, and the prize needs to be better. And so this leads me to my second story. And that is the very first time I met Zach in person. We went out and I met a bunch of people, and we had some dinner and stuff. And then Joanne and I, my wife, we were leaving, and I heard all of a sudden, this Challenger. I didn't know it at the time. All of a sudden I heard this noise, this engine fly by me. And then it was a Challenger. And I'm like, that's gotta be fucking Zach. And so this challenge, this event challenge, you need to win a Challenger or something, you know? And so like somebody
That'd be sick if we had it like that. But let's remember, we're all in screen printing here.
No, Zach's got the money. It's actually gonna be a Hellcat.
So everybody, we're announcing here on the Shirt Show. If you beat Zach or you beat his,
he will give you a Challenger Hellcat.
He gives you his. It's like Need for
the
what the fuck's that movie?
Slips?
Furious. Fast and Furious.
Don't act like you don't know what movie it is. You have a fucking Creed shirt on.
I almost said Need for Speed. I don't know why I said that.
Fast and Furious, baby. Let's go.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah, that sounds like
Andy lives his life a quarter mile at a time.
Yeah, exactly. You got Paul Walker here and Vin Diesel right there.
I mean, it's cool to have the, what would it be? Just like I was the best, I was the fastest. Like our shop won, we were the fastest or whatever. But it'd be cooler if there was some sort of prize or trophy or medal or something. I don't know. Maybe you already are doing something like that.
No, that's what we're trying to work on with the development, and like that's like these guys have seen it, and like I appreciate, and I keep telling them like I appreciate you guys going down this journey because it has been a process, you know, with developing it, how we're doing the challenges, like how much time you get, all these different things, and like you know, it's exciting though because we're exactly what you're saying, Andy. Like it gives us the opportunity where we can open this up to a bunch of different challenges. Where we're setting our 10 print type challenges this time, but like. You know, we can make it where it's like, all right, well, it's completely at random. You're going to pick a speed challenge, you know, an accuracy challenge, whatever the case is, you know. So it's really cool because it does open it up for that. And I think the prize thing is something that we definitely need to work on. You know, being from Boston, the best prize in the world, baby, is bragging rights, you know, so you know, we love to talk shit. So being able to just say, you know, I beat you and stuff like that's been fun. Like I said, like we've been talking shit, all of us with each other for the past 2 months. And then like talking shit with the Made Lab, obviously, you know, Lee loves talking shit. So it's always been fun.
What are the criteria for like judging at the end of this? Because I mean, obviously we all know, like we all learned this in our own way, and a lot of it's self-taught and a lot of it's art. So like, what's to say that someone's piece is better than the other piece? Is it just not being able to get it done, or it's a pile of shit and you know fibers are up everywhere, or like what's going on?
Yeah, so that's one thing. First off, I thought I had it out here. I don't know what I did with it with the button. But so we have a thing where we're also doing a really good partnership with Matt's DTF company and then a DTF, you know, store. And basically what we're trying to showcase too at the end of all these challenges, we also are showing a side-by-side comparison of the print, the screen print versus the DTF version of the print, so that it can give, you know, people more of an insight as to, you know, DTF and screen printing don't have to be a competition. They really do not. You know, I've had amazing talks with a bunch of people in the industry, Andy being one of them, you know, and understanding that they complement each other really well. You know, you guys went in depth on it at the shirt show that you guys did at Logo Daddy, you know, and I think it's one way we can, you know, showcase that more. But with that, you know, we do have a fun button that if you do not complete the challenge in 2 hours, the button says you just got DTF'd. So basically meaning you should have just DTF'd it. It's taking you too long. But, you know, having things like that. But the like voting aspect was kind of something that was tough for us, you know, because like I was saying, Omar pushes stuff to a whole nother level than the rest of us do, you know. So the way he's looking at a print may be different than the way I'm looking at a print. So the way we kind of are going to be doing it is when we drop these episodes, you know, and I hope everybody signs up to watch early so you can get your votes in earlier. But we're going to leave this open to the viewers. You know,
I was going to say it should be a blind reaction of not knowing what team shirt it is either. Like here's 2 shirts, pick A or B. Like which one would you pick?
Yeah, so that would be that's a great idea, doing the blind one. And I think that's something we can definitely do when moving forward to the teamed ones. With this one, we kind of gave everybody the freedom to create their own designs. So it's cool because everybody's actually going to be doing different designs on every press for each challenge. Basically, the real challenge was just incorporating the type of printing that you had to do. Right. So with these ones, when we do these votings for the individual challenges that we're doing this week, it's going to be more so up to the viewer to be like, hey, I really liked how they handled this situation. Like we're going to be showing them through the 2 hours, going through the process, all this. I like how they handled it. And then I like the results, you know, but shoot, man, when it comes to the team one, I think that's a great idea, Dylan, where we just basically leave it up at the end where here are the 2 prints, show the close up, show all those different effects and, you know, see what people vote on and don't really say who was who, you know, and I think that's kind of cool, leaving it open ended.
Yeah.
Do you think you could have a like a, as far as scoring goes, some bonus point section? So if like for Omar, for example, he gets a bonus point for the Mohawk for sure, like no doubt.
Fantastic. And handy for president.
You know,
but
so I think
that's for aerodynamics though, and also it's a lot easier to not get ink on your head when you can wipe it off.
Right.
That's actually what happened. I was cleaning a screen and I just got a big glove, found it easier to chop it off.
Exactly. We were just talking about that yesterday because we used to have an employee that worked here and he was like a super metalhead kid. And when he first got hired here, he had this long ponytail and he kept putting his ink cups on the dryer. And then when he walked by it and turned his head, he would always graze his hair on his ink cups. So then like a week later, he had like a normal like boy's haircut. Because he cut it all off because he kept getting it full of ink. So that's Omar's doing it for the actual practicality.
Smart.
Because it's
Exactly. Yeah. That's how he operates.
he doesn't like it. It's just what he has to do.
Finally, somebody understands me.
Exactly.
I get it. Yeah. It's the technique.
No,
I
with,
get it. I
with the point system, that's something that we definitely want to like open up. Like I was saying earlier, we're completely open to people getting involved in this. That's why we're going to have the landing page and the email sign up. Like, we want to hear what people want to see. If there's a specific challenge somebody thinks about late at night while they're laying in bed at 3:00 in the morning, we want to hear that. Looking up at their poster of Andy on their ceiling. Sorry to be so specific.
With their black light, with their black light on and their incense burning.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, maybe even the scent of Andy burning on that incense. But anyways, back to the thing. With that, I want to hear these things because if there's a way we can do that where it comes and create something universal, like we want to be able to do that. One of the biggest things that we heard a lot was, how do you make it so it's not sided? I heard so many different things where it's just like, well, who's voting for this? Is so-and-so going to be the judge? Because if that's not fair, because you're really close with them, so they're just going to vote for you. And it's like, all right, we need to take all of this off the table. So how do we do that?
Judge is an M&R guy or a rock guy, and then they pick the team that did it on that press.
You got to eliminate bias somehow.
Right. That's why I said it has to be blind in a way where it might show you doing all this stuff, but in the end, it's like the final product. You didn't know whose was whose or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's probably, honestly, we'll give you that credit because what we'll do is we'll probably do that with this virtual one when it's the Made Lab, us, and the Rogue Lab head to head, because we can easily just show all those pieces side by side and then let the people leave that up for vote, which would be perfect. So we'll implement that right away, courtesy of you.
Mm. So Omar, I'm glad you're here, but how many other humans do we have that are?
We got 3 left to get through, so we're gonna have to kick you off, bro.
Thank you, boys.
Thanks for coming on.
Good to see you, bud.
Bring out my guy
Later, dude.
Davison up next. He's standing. Cory looks comfortable over there.
Omar got this amazing introduction, and this poor guy gets.
All right, well,
over
Sanger, I
here.
mean, dude, hold on. Don't come on. Like that. Let me get. So Sanger, I call Sanger on my phone is Sanger, a.k.a. Big Daddy Stang. All right, Stang just had his kid last year. Issa, she's gorgeous. But Sanger and I met at the Made Lab literally like the second time I ever went there. We met at the end of the dryer at the Made Lab. And then the next time I go to the Made Lab,
true love.
Yeah, it really is. And we found out that the next time we were at the Made Lab that we were actually going to be in the same rock class together to get trained as techs. And, obviously the best tech class of all time for rock. I mean, I don't think anybody's going to deny that. But so we've just been brothers since. We were fortunate enough where we had those 2 weeks with each other in Florida, and we fell in love with each other. And then, that's my homie, but he's also one of the best artists I've ever met and seen. And somebody that's been in art for so long and really in it. When I say he's one of the best, I'm not saying that lightly. This guy is extremely talented. And, that was one thing we all talked about where when it came to us doing our own designs, well, it's not fair because Sanger's in it. So this is Sanger.
Well, I appreciate you, bro.
Love you, bro.
Love you, dude.
What's up,
boys?
dude? You got the best sunglasses.
I'm doing what I can.
Doesn't Madonna or somebody have those glasses? Isn't
No,
that
these are the Kurt Cobains, bro.
Oh, okay. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Same vein,
Got a
both
glimpse of
blondes.
Andy's Creed shirt. I didn't even see that. I wanted to see that one.
So what's up, dude? What's your, we heard you're the artist, but what's your take on this whole thing?
Well, kind of like what Zach said, bro. Initially, we just wanted to have a weekend for the boys or whatever and just get together in the studio and just chill and print and have fun. And then, it's kind of evolved into something bigger. But, my perspective is I'm just here to have fun and make sick-ass prints and just chill with my homies. Basically.
That's all it needs to be.
Yeah. And
that sounded kind of like a Spicoli statement right there, he's on the beach and he's just looking for some like a good time, basically.
Yeah, just looking for a vibe, dude.
Yeah.
Just what do you say? A cool wave and a tasty buzz.
And he's fine.
Yeah, dude.
I get
But the
older and
challenge
these
is-
prints keep getting younger.
What was that?
You said I get older and the prints keep getting younger.
Yeah, dude. But I don't know, with the challenges, it's kind of adding a whole new element to it now. Cause like at first I thought we were just going to kind of do what we want, but now it's not necessarily the case. We're kind of getting pushed in a certain direction, which I like, dude. I'm up for the challenges. And like you said, anything can go wrong. So yeah, it's fun to, just push everything to the limit, bro.
Sometimes it's good to just be in the right place. That's something that me and Andy have talked a lot about with as far as like printers going to trade shows and all these other things, is they might be in it and a good craftsman and all this other stuff, but once they get involved in the competition, and that was something I guess Christina had talked to you about too, is just the competition of it all makes us all better. Like we could think we're really good and we actually are really good, but then when we get a little bit of competition, we're like, all right, well, now I got to step up and be better and be better and be better. So,
and that's
just
the whole
wanting
point.
to come chill and hang is also, you're going to hang, but you're going to get a little bit better.
Well, we're blessed, bro, because like Zach was saying, our team, we got some heavy hitters. So like just being around these dudes and seeing what they do, like it automatically motivates you or me to go harder.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just seeing what they're doing. It's like, oh shit, well, okay, I got to step it up now. Cause I can't let someone try and take the shine.
You know what?
Exactly.
You know what just occurred to me is that there's so many great shops out there that have some like very respectable teams. And maybe you already thought about this and have one of the challenges, already had thought about one of these challenges. But what if you did this? Like, what if during one of them, like you sabotaged what was happening? And
Somebody said that. That was
and
beautiful.
then you have to recover from this because, okay, how did you recover? How did you problem solve? Because I remember the very first time I printed with Zach, he sabotaged me. And he, so this is, which was actually, oh no, this is true. I'll tell you the story and you'll agree. So like what happened with one of my excuses of when I did my 100 shirt challenge is that I didn't know my press had this countdown mode where you, like if you put in let's say you were going to print 100 shirts, it's counted down. And when you got to your final shirt, it print finished automatically. You didn't even have to touch anything. Well, with that's what happened when I was printing with Zach, is that we were up at, who's the Multicraft, and you had the rock in some sort of mode that I wasn't familiar with, and then I printed a bunch of pallets because it was printing backwards, or I don't know what happened, but you sabotaged me to embarrass me, and I had to sign the pallets or something. Yeah. And so that would have been great, as I could have had to figure out like what just went wrong. Now I've got to clean off these pallets, or maybe there's a faster way. I'll flash the pallets, or whatever I'll do. I'll just get through this so I can continue on my challenge. You know what I mean? So maybe there's something like that.
Like throw a fly in the screen, or throw on a pallet that has less tack.
Mess up all the off contacts, do something like that. See if you're paying attention.
Yeah, no, that's a good idea, because I don't know, we could be some sticklers with some stuff, I feel like.
Oh yeah, and that's a cool thing too, because then it makes you have to understand how craft. Yeah, how deep do you know the craft? On all different aspects. Like
leave a zone on one of the flashes off.
Yeah,
the bottom one. So you're like,
like I have as one of the things we do here, for example, is, and I've thought of in the past too, is like you have just this floater person, right? And when something goes wrong, they just attack that situation. You know what I mean? Because they've just had the experience. They've been around it and they've seen it before. Whereas maybe a press operator, they're really great at loading and registering, but they haven't seen every single problem. Not that we all have, but they haven't seen as many problems. And then you put this person on this issue and they solve it fast, because that's actually efficient, and that'll make you more money and everything else, right? Because at the end of the day, that's what we have to do. Our shop has to make money, otherwise we're going to close. And so I think that's really important. That's that person, that floater person that's solving problems, is a really important person, and that could be part of the challenge. Is like, who is the expert here at figuring out the best way? Because a lot of times there's 3 ways to solve the problem, and you have to choose one of them. And you're like, 5 minutes in, you're like, damn it, I should have just burned a new screen and fuck this. You know what I mean? So
I was going to say that that's literally the answer to all of them is, and we have a saying here that's like, I always look at Brian. I'm like, what happens when you try to take a shortcut? He's like, we get fucked. So it's like, the truth of it is 99% of the times it's just burn a new screen.
Yeah.
Like just
back to the basics, bro. Back to the basics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Let's reset and then do it again.
Yeah. Clean slate.
And that's the thing too, is like what Andy was talking about is like, I think that's one thing we're going to see more with these challenges and stuff as we start doing more and more of them, is that you're going to see that there's so many different titles of where you're at, you know, like with the print plugs situation that we're trying to build and stuff. Like we have a ranking system of where you fall as a screen printer and stuff like that, you know, but getting to that point where you're print master, the official title we like to call it is print specialist, is you understand the print on a whole nother level, like whether it's the problem solving aspect of just burning a new screen or what does the press need right now? Is there something wrong with the press? All these different things. So no, it's definitely cool with sabotage.
I get it. Well, Spicoli, thanks for joining.
Thank you guys. Appreciate y'all.
All right, so the next person we have coming up is a sicko. This is my brother right here. It's funny, when I first started working with Rock, everybody was like, have you met Cory yet? And I was like, I don't know who Cory is. And they're like, Cory, you guys are going to be best friends. And they weren't far off. We're not just best friends, though. We're brothers. So I got my man, Cory Haynes, coming up here. You gonna get up here? You're
struggling with this mic.
Oh, struggling with his mic. He's a little nervous. He's a little shaky. I can see him.
Too many C4s.
Too many C4s. He also has a rare addiction to C4s that he has to drink them. He just loves that tingle in the face. But yes, Cory was also one of the guys that helped me a lot on my rock journey. And then he was the main guy for the 730 tech side of rock. So Cory Haynes.
What's up, dude? How are you?
Good, man. Good. Excited to be here.
Every time I see you, you have some kind of like eccentric outfit on.
Yeah, at a certain point, you have a reputation to keep up with. So, you know, this is my life. This is my sunglasses for him. It's the whole.
You wear that out, but then when you go home, you have like over the belly button sweatpants and like a macrame sweater.
I'm like such a bum at home. Like I work from home now, so like it's like I wouldn't let anybody see my like daily, like when I'm working at home, you know, it's like, you know, like I might not always share that camera in the meetings, you know.
That's for sure.
That's good.
He's probably cooking up a hot dog at his desk too, probably.
My man's hooked it up with a Supreme hot dog. It's got rollers on top, like the gas station rollers, and then it got a little bun crisper in there. Nice. And it's literally, I got my work set up. And then I got the glizzy machine like right there, dude. You know, I can just keep the dogs churning, you know, every day.
We tried last year at ISS Long Beach to have a booth. And one of the things, because we had no idea what we would use a booth for. We just got asked if we wanted one. And we were like, well, cool, we'll set up a station and then we'll just get a gas station hot dog roller and just leave it there. Like just continuously fill it with hot dogs and let people come up and get hot dogs. Like,
Zach,
but then yeah.
And
I'm
Zach
a DTF
knows.
a dog, you know, some water-based ketchup, you know, we're going to get
Whoa. Zach knows no ketchup.
No ketchup. I mean, shoot, you know how I am. I'll be putting ketchup on that thing.
There's not enough time for that argument.
Yeah, not enough time.
Don't disrespect the dog, bro.
Cory, you were saying you work from home now, and I've made a little bit of a transition, and I've been working from home, I would say probably half time, I was at least. And it feels weird, but I find that mentally I am, I don't know, in a much better place. And maybe that's because I was in a burnout situation with everything I went through with my back and everything. And so it's really been helping me. And I think I'm more productive in a smaller window of time. Like I'm not working 8 hours from home, but the hours that I do put in are crazy, super productive. And I probably get more done there than if I were to come into the shop. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? And is that how, do you find it like with yourself? Is it the same?
Yes, because you have total control of your time management. So, you know, like you can't just like let yourself be a bum and like wake up 5 minutes before you got to be on and throw like a hoodie on and work, which is like really easy to slip into if you work from home. You know, but like I love the control of like, I have my routine now. Like I'll get up, hit the gym. I know what time I got to be at my desk, and you just like hop right into it. And I think like, and probably similar for you, I feel like the way I work, I have little spurts. I buckle down, boom, 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 fire off all this stuff, and I'm like, whew, okay, that was a lot of stuff. And then I can kind of step away and then just hop back in it, And so previous to this, I was a rock tech for a little bit over 3 years, and like really hitting it hard, doing like 3 weeks on the road, 1 week off. Like I felt like I was working on an oil rig. I joke a lot of times with like people about that. So it was a huge transition to go from like my work was on the road. So when I'm home, like it's just, I'm just trying to like not think about work and just kind of break free from that, which is so hard for anybody that is in this industry. It's just, I'm constantly thinking about that. So pretty much 100% on the road to 100% at home, it's insane. But, you talk about burnout, like 3 years, like as a road dog, I was just kind of getting to that point. Me and my wife bought a house. I would go home. I couldn't even find the plates. Like I'm in my own house and I'm like, I'm not here enough to like know. And I just had this, I had like a meltdown. I'm just in there open. I'm like, where is everything? I don't know where shit is in my own house. Like I'm a homeowner and like, it's foreign to me. I can navigate a Holiday Inn like a motherfucker blindfold. I can find the bathroom, find like the mini fridge. It's like, that shit is mapped out in my brain. So it's weird, dude. It's really weird.
That plate thing resonates with me because my wife, just when I learn where the certain dishes or whatever cups are, she switches it and moves them around. And she says that it's just building new neural pathways and it keeps me young. So like that's one of the reasons why she's doing it. So maybe your wife is looking out for you too.
Dang.
A little bit, And
I could use a little stimulus up here, man. Keep those synapses firing, man.
Dylan.
There was an article I just saw the other day that was saying that a lot of these people that are working from home are working for these large companies, whatever, and they're just a cog in the machine, but they get to work from home and do this data entry and whatever it is they're doing. But they're not telling their employers that they have multiple jobs, and they get like 4 or 5 jobs where they work full time, where they work from home, and they have a monitor and a computer for each job all lined up, and they just do 5 different jobs all day. Because with a lot of those kinds of jobs, it's like they can do like 2 to 3 hours worth of work in an 8-hour day, and then they just do that for 4 jobs, and they're making 4 salaries and whatever. And they try to stack them up so that if they kind of fall off on one and they get fired, they have 3 or 4 more, and they just are collectively doing multiple jobs from home at the same time.
I gotta be careful what I say here, man.
You gotta be careful. Won't be listening to
I'm working 12 hours a day for rock. I barely sleep. I would never think about switching from HDMI 1 to HDMI 2 and getting the Mac out and, looking at some steps or something.
He definitely doesn't have a massive stretch screen across his whole office.
Yeah. No. But, that is a very interesting point I've never considered or acted.
Never thought of. Do you feel like the work from home and what you're doing is making you kind of like we were talking about the competition or whatever, making you evaluate what it was you did for the last 3 years and how to do it better, or how to educate other people on how to do it better?
I love my job. It's so fulfilling because, really like, I'm a tech, but I'm also in customer service now, and it's all day. People either submit a case online, have the issue with my press, or we have the hotline and they can call in and we can create the case. So all day, I'm getting calls from people and like, hey, I got this error on my press, or, this print head is stuck with this. And so like helping customers like navigate that, and like, it's just like obviously increased my knowledge of these machines like tenfold. So now I'm looking at it like from a different angle, and it's really like shown me, I don't think I could do this job for really like any other company, because the customers that we're dealing with are just like, they're amazing. They're printers, like I'm not like, putting on my, hello, thanks for calling rock. How can I, like they don't want that. That would be fake. I got a dude calling me and he's like, yeah, I don't know what the fuck is going on. This he was doing this and maybe it was that. So it's like, I really just get to be myself and talk with these people like on their own level. And I mean, like there's nothing more satisfying because a lot of, these machines are designed to be relatively easy, to work on. So if it's under warranty, we're really good about, we'll send a tech. If you're not comfortable, like troubleshooting, you don't have to do that. But a lot of times it's like our techs are scheduled out. So you give people that option of like, hey man, if you're willing to work with me, if you have a multimeter, if you can do some tests with me, like I'm pretty sure we could get this thing back up and going like in an hour. And a lot of times like they'll jump for that because it's a job, it's on press, they need to get back to it. So it's given me a new appreciation for the design of these machines. And when you do work with the customer and they fix it themselves, they're so excited. Like, and it's just like, they feel like they're a tech. They're just like, so gassed they're like, I did that. And, and that's what I liked about being a tech when I was a tech. Like, I think, we're all kind of drawn to, especially in this industry, like want to work with our hands and problem solve. And, why isn't this working? It's really no different when we're trying to figure out if it's a bad brake solenoid. And it's like, well, do this. If this happens, then it's this, and learning and just getting better about finding the fewest amount of steps that I need to take to determine what the issue is.
So all I'm hearing is that you're the perfect guy to do the sabotaging.
Oh, dude, you have no idea. I'm putting jumpers in. I'm like, I got 1,000 ways to rig this thing.
All this technical stuff, man. He went over to the gauntlet and he started adjusting the gauntlet and making it even better. And I'm like, this is scary that you just understand all the presses this much. It's like,
Cory,
dude, you could mess all these up for us.
Cory, have you thought of putting together some sort of AI, like taking every case that crosses your desk or computer or whatever, throw that into an AI learning whatever agent and just building out this whole platform so that, I know it's going to take a human. And I think that actually that's where AI is going, is that there's always this human interface. Like there's going to be somebody that calls up, just like you said, you're a printer, they're a printer, and they want to talk to you. They want your words and a human being's words and a human being's voice. They don't want AI's bullshit, fakeness. However, AI can get to problems quickly and sometimes faster, and also suggest things that you just didn't think of right away and you're trying to kind of scratch in your head. So have you built anything out that it can assist you in other texts, let's say, as you're trying to solve this problem?
So I haven't. I feel like that's something, I've talked to this guy about it, and I feel like that's something he could help me a lot with. I don't have that, but what I have is 2,000 photos with like the sketchy little iPhone, like red circle. And it's funny, the way we work is like a lot of times, it's hard for these customers to find the names of the parts I'm looking at. So it's like, open this up, take a photo, send it to me, send in a photo. I circle this. I'm like, now photo of this. Okay, now photo of the back, and we just like keep zooming in until I'm like, that's it right there, that plug. So I do have, every time I'm working, I just like, it's funny because when I took this job, there was a little bit of anxiety thinking like, of course I would encounter things that I hadn't before, so I kind of was just expecting like these just really like quasi crazy like issues. And then it's like anything else, you're like, oh, the same 10 things break all the time. And like that's anything outside of the realm of the common issues that you're used to seeing is like they're few and far between. So I have all these SOPs that, I noticed that quickly where it's like,
right,
every time I'm walking the customer through the same steps, sending them the same photos. So now I have a PDF and I got this photo, this folder that it's like troubleshooting a brake solenoid, troubleshooting like a squeegee chop solenoid, and all these things now that just constantly as I'm working with the customer, it's like, send them this photo, put it in, put it in the document. And, it's just constantly building that out.
I make the joke a lot when I call him. I have the same like line that I say to him usually if I'm like working on a tech thing that I say when I call Matt Marcotte also is, hey, can I just borrow your brain for a second? Because their brains operate like these ChatGPTs.
Well,
but I've definitely told them, like, hey, we should start putting this up in there so it can keep track of things, and then that way it's easier to get to.
I've also like tested it myself where, you know, obviously we need permission from the actual manufacturers and the companies and stuff like that. But I tested it where it's like, I took a manual with like schematics, all that stuff of a locking system that I found online. And I essentially uploaded the manual into ChatGPT. And then I asked ChatGPT like, hey, this is the issue that I have right now with the system. And it was able to pinpoint me in the direction of where to start looking and stuff like that. So I think there's a lot of room and growth for that, especially when you have really smart people like Cory and like super passionate people, that it's like, all right, if you start integrating that AI side to it too, is like we could create an elite task force, you know?
Mm-hmm. Just speeding things up.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's the big thing is like time's crucial, you know? And like, I think that's one of the things even like we're trying to do with this, you know, competition is show how much time you can save with your knowledge, you know, with the challenges that you're put into, and it can get you back to a place of, you know, positivity and stuff. Whereas like that time will get to you, and then that's what causes that burnout, you know, and that's one thing that we always want to stay away from is the burnout, and we want to keep that passion and that fun high. So yeah, anytime we can get through that quicker is better, but that's why, you know, he saves a lot of lives and emotions by just giving this dude a call and fixing it. I actually just got him a hat. It was perfect. It was so fitting. We were driving back from Florida, and we stopped, and there was a hat, and I pointed at it, and Lucy was like, Cory, right? And I was like, yep. And it just says on the hat, I am the warranty. So all you rock customers, if you're wondering, you know, why am I paying so much for this warranty and stuff like that, just picture this beautiful face right
This
here.
ding dong right here.
Paying for that wardrobe.
Yeah. Yeah, he's going to buy the
Daddy needs some new clothes, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, but nah, and he's the other thing too is he brings to the table. He's a unbelievable water-based printer. You know, he was something. It was when we first linked up. It was a joke, like, oh, I'm the plastisol guy. He's the water-based guy. But his history and knowledge in water-based is like top tier in my opinion.
Yeah, you need both.
Yeah.
Well, Cory, thank you.
Thank you, bro. And
Thank you, boys. Look
Thank
forward to getting you guys' thoughts on everything that rolls out. Smoking these guys at some water base and probably taking some L's.
So unfortunately, Cody's not here today because he's coming in a few hours, but he had a tattoo session. So Cody's another artist that we have on the team, and you know he's also been the guy I talked about in the previous shirt show. We FaceTimed the three of us together with him before and stuff. He was actually the one that got me into listening and watching the shirt show. Huge fan. So I was bummed we couldn't get him here. His cutout didn't come in time either. We were just gonna have a cutout of him sitting next to me, but that didn't come. But the last person I do want to showcase on here with me is my good friend Seth. He was somebody that, you know, got down on the project. Come in here, Seth. And you know,
the man, the myth, right there.
Exactly.
The other man in black.
Yeah. You know how we roll. You know, well, that's the thing.
It's a hard aesthetic.
Yeah, you hang out with all of us too long, it just comes natural.
It's not even that he likes it. He likes the challenge and the pain because he lives in Texas and he's fucking
I want to absorb
fully in black.
Just, all colors, all heat. Yeah.
But no, Seth, like, he brings a lot to the table. Obviously, like, he's in charge of our production with filming and content capturing and all that stuff, along with the help of marketing from Lucy. But, you know, the coolest thing about Seth is, you know, if you know Seth, he's an amazing artist in so many different aspects and stuff like that, musically, visually, all that. But he's a screen printer too, you know, so to be able to have somebody here that was super pumped up to be a part of a project like this, to film it and document it, to get it out to the people, but also having an understanding of screen printing.
I was going to say someone who knows what to capture.
Yeah, that's huge, you know, because I think that's the biggest thing that we see is like, you know, we are trying to get more content out to the industry, but a lot of the people shooting it don't know what to shoot, you know, so
right, exactly.
Having him here is amazing.
Hey, Seth, how's things, bud?
It's good. Everything's fine. Yeah. No, everything's great. This is a really cool project, especially with, you know, my screen printing background, to just come in with a bunch of artists and like just kind of dive straight into full creativity. Like,
right.
You know, there's no rules, I guess, right? No bosses.
Really?
Yeah, that kind of thing. It's just
full creativity. Yeah, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Seth, do you think with all the different things you've filmed and all the different things, projects you've done and all the, you know, there's a lot of things that we've talked about before, but Is there something that you think the industry is missing as far as content that could be shown that isn't shown enough? I feel like more and more people just take video. I mean, I'm guilty of it too, taking videos of just what's on press. But a lot of the videos I've seen you do where you're the producer and you're doing it is the behind the scenes more often than the actual press spinning with shirts on it. Is there something you would like to see more of being a creative in this industry?
You know, I think kind of the day-to-day, you know, activities of a print shop kind of being shot on like, I don't want to say like a cinematic level, but like, you know, there's a couple of shops out there that do a pretty good job. Superior is one of them. And, you know, they just add this element of storytelling. So it's not just like this documentation. It's like, you know, you have this like message that shows your culture or like your vibe or whatever. But then the other part of it is like showing how good of a shop you are, you know? So kind of showcasing that. But, you know, there was some like documentary on screen printing that came out like, I don't know, maybe like 6 or 7 years ago. And it's like, I'd like to see something like that come out again, you know, kind of updated for 2024, especially with like DTF being involved. Like there's a million ways to decorate a garment now, you know? So it's kind of like, let's dive into all that stuff.
Yeah, I think, and this is off topic a little bit, but recently I've been struggling with this a little bit as far as like, I was so involved with the company and the social media and Upstate Was Me and all this other stuff for like 12 years or something. And then it got to the point where I thought as a boss, I should delegate it, and I delegated it off. And then it kind of turned into, for like the last 3-ish years, of being like, the Upstate is its own thing. And then we post stuff that's just like things we're doing and whatever. And now I feel like I just want to like get back in and have it be more story and more like what the company's about and what we're doing. And like you were saying, just like, who are we and why would you want to come here versus just like any other printer or, you know, just bullshit that we're doing on the daily. So that's kind of why I was asking you, is just like, I want to do things that aren't, and I fell into this trap that I think we've all done, where we make a lot of content for other printers because they're our friends and like we want to show stuff off and all this other stuff. But it's like, we need to be making shit for the customers and the clients and education for them. So it's kind of like, that's what we should be doing. That's what I want to do.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I think that, you know, if you can effectively tell your story as a print shop and add like, you know, your flair to it, whether that's like an emotional pull or if that's like humor or, you know, whatever, if you can set that initial platform for yourself, but then like go a step beyond, you start attracting customers, and then you have these customers that really become loyal, like go and tell their story too. And like how that relationship, you know, between you and them is kind of formed, and, you know, kind of roll with that. And, you know, what that's going to do in the end is going to like deepen that bond that you have with that client. It'll get you to be a little bit more creative, you know, just kind of intuitively, but then also, you know, it'll make other people, I don't know, just kind of not makes them feel safe or something like that, but it will attract.
Gives them the confidence that
it's
you're
like,
going to
you know,
do
I want to
right
work
by
with
them.
this person. Yeah, you know.
I think the other thing too is, and we've had this conversation before, is like with telling your story, it also allows you to see the growth of your own story. You know, and I think that's one thing that we get so caught up in the day-to-day sometimes that we don't get to necessarily see our own growth. You know, like whether it's a time lapse or something like that, you can just look back on it and see like, oh, wow, we've come so far, or, you know, we do this differently now, or whatever the case is. So,
dude, that nostalgia gets me every time. I was literally crying by myself looking at some Instagram from like 5 years ago, because we had like some birthday or like the shop birthday party, and Joanne dumped potato chips on my head and everything. I was crying because I was like, oh my gosh, those were the days, you know. But it got me thinking what you're saying just now, Seth, and that is Nick Wood told me to read this book, and so I got it. You know, that's kind of a problem. But I downloaded this book on Audible called "Trust Me, I'm Lying" by Ryan Holiday, and it's about. It's very interesting. Have you read it or listened to it?
No, I haven't read it. I'm familiar with Holiday. Yeah. But,
so it's so cool. Yeah, like with this guy, he does marketing for American Apparel, or he did. I don't know if he still does, but what he's talking about is, in that anyway, is marketing and telling this story, which is very interesting, because how a lot of companies or even places are telling a fake story. now. And so like one of the things he did was create an alias under a completely different name. And he took out billboards for this movie. This marketing campaign he was doing for this movie. He took out billboards, and then he himself personally went and vandalized the billboards, and then called the news and said, hey, that's happening. And so the news reported on it and then viraled out the fact that they were being vandalized. And he created a Facebook group under a different name protesting that thing.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like manufacturing all of this marketing. And so, here we are. The title is perfect. Trust me, I'm lying, is because, I think that part of the challenge is when you're marketing is you want to be authentic and you want to tell your story. But now we're seeing all the stuff, even with AI, you don't even know if that's the person's face or voice or what's happening. And so I think that as we market on Instagram or YouTube or LinkedIn, whatever we're going to do as screen printers, TikTok, we have to be very careful. And also, wouldn't it be fun to get involved in just sort of some fake campaign, that went viral, as long as you're not deceiving in the wrong way? You know what I mean?
Right. Do it for fun,
Yeah, and do it for fun. Say, hey, just kidding, at the end or whatever. But I mean, it's just like this. It's crazy. I think what is kind of evolving in how marketing and social media and everything. Do you see that happening too?
Yeah, you have to get a lot more creative these days, and I mean, it's hard because you can't you can just copy the next guy. That's kind of how things go viral, they copy each other. But, and what's fascinating to me is when people do that and you have these accounts that surge and then other accounts that don't. And it's like, what is the difference between those accounts? Because we're all doing the same thing here. So yeah, I think it's just a healthy balance of seeing what the new trend of the next couple of weeks is going to be, but then also staying on a stable course, and posting the way that you do. And then maybe a little bit of pay to play, which is terrible, but it's maybe boost something every now and then.
Yeah. I think the thing is you can do all these viral trends and you can do all this, you can do both. And that's what we try to do is I try to do this is who we actually are. This is how the shop is. Yeah. But then if we see something that is actually fun, that's a viral thing, I would like to do it. We made a couple of those that were really popular for a little while, where it was some random clip. We did one of a gorilla sliding and spinning, and then his ass crack was the center line on a pallet, and then it went into us printing or whatever. And it's
you stitched
we wanted to do it because it was actually fun. It wasn't some stupid dance or something. It was when the Harlem Shake was huge and everybody did the Harlem Shake. And it's some are fun, but I do think you need to do you just need to be you. Yeah. And that's what I was saying is I did me for 12 years of there's actually a bunch of personal stuff mixed in, and I got to feel weird where it was the company grew to a level where it was I'm posting weird pictures of my kids and stuff on my upstate Instagram. It's you know what I mean? It's I don't feel like I should be doing this. So I kind of stepped back, and now I'm seeing I liked a bit of the personalness to it. I liked when people associated certain things with us and how we do things. And I kind of want to get back to that. But I, like Andy was saying, it's fun to hear about this big thing that deceived everybody and made this viral news, and it became a story. But then you hear it and you're oh, that's amazing that they pulled that off. But you also feel cheated. You're this isn't real. It sucks that it's not real.
Yeah. But at the same time, that's if you think about it, there's not a huge difference between what he did on social versus what Shepard Fairey was doing with posters and art, or even Banksy, if we're going to call it the greats. But but that was the thing. They kind of fabricated their own mystery to it. They made their own viral thing, and then it took off and was successful. But but at the same time, I don't know. That's kind of yeah, you can compare them. Anyways.
No, I think it just comes down to what approach you want to go for. I personally, being obsessed with Shepard and obsessed with Banksy, when I first started self-made back in 2013, 2014, I tried to go that route for the longest time where, all right, I'm not going to post my face. I'm not going to post this, to try to create that mysteria and stuff. But I found eventually I was that's not working for me because, one, I have a personality, and the other things too, the brands that I did create, they need that representation. You know, they need a face to it and stuff like that. So I think it really comes down to what you're trying to create for yourself. And, you know, that it just goes right back to telling your story the way that it needs to be told.
Well, to wrap this up, I guess you need to figure out some crazy way to manipulate everybody and make it viral to promote this throwdown. So,
oh yeah.
Well, yeah, we're actually just going to like straight up go into crowded places and start screaming at people. That seems to be what absolutely.
I think if
works
you
these
go into
days.
crowded places and just scream "throwdown," people are just going to start shit out of each other.
Yeah,
especially in Boston. There you go.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
If you could actually put "throwdown" on, like maybe forever, put "forever" from "throwdown" on. While you do that, that would be that would be perfect.
No, that'd be But no, we're gonna figure it out. Like I said, like we're working together with some amazing partners, some sponsors, and you know it's gonna be driven through the screen printer die brand and platform, through the screen printers page on social medias that we recently, you know, acquired and are doing a revamp, you know, led by my guy Ryan Moore. So we're really excited to be able to do that. And like I said, like our big thing with this is we want to create fun and interest in screen printing, you know, whether it's showing people the connection or the art of screen printing, that connection between a painting, you know, to a screen print, or, you know, what we're going to be doing this week at one point is we're going to be showcasing the connection between, you know, a screen print that Cody's going to be doing to then Cory getting that same thing tattooed on his leg, you know, or wherever part of his body he wants to get it on. I'm trying to get him to get it on his cheek. I think he'd look a lot cooler on his service calls. But anyways, but like showcasing those connections, you know, screen printing being one of the biggest industries in the world, you know, I think it doesn't get the representation or the acknowledgement that it deserves. So being able to show all the cool things that it connects with and links through, I think will be huge.
So I think you kind of just said it, but where do people go to, because this episode will be out on Monday, where do people go to find more out about this, or to actually see the video footage when it's done, or to learn more about the competitions?
So that's a perfect question. So basically, we're going to be providing you guys the link so we can get this into the write-up for when this episode drops and stuff. But we are going to have a link for you guys to be able to sign up and whatnot. It's going to be run off the Screen Printer Die website that we're relaunching with the new brand, new face. And it's going to give you the ability where you can sign up to be on the email trail and be involved in the development of it. But we're also going to be submitting to everybody that signed up gets the episodes a week in advance. So you actually get it before it gets released publicly. And that way we can get feedback from people, and it's a way to get them more involved throughout the development.
That's how you get them. That's how you hook them.
Hook, line, and sinker, baby.
Well, thanks, guys. Thank you to everybody who sat in. Thank you for all being super cool, and appreciate you doing something in the industry to help it grow. I know it's fun and it's exciting for you guys, but it's also just the more the better as far as quality content. Appreciate you guys.
No doubt. And it's no longer, they ruined it with that bad song. So I'm no longer saying teamwork makes the dream work. I'm saying teamwork makes the screens work, baby. Especially. So.
Thank you guys. We appreciate you.
Love you
Bye, guys.